Next month, a Los Angeles jury will decide whether the serial killer known as the Hollywood Ripper should get the death penalty. In August, Michael Gargiulo was convicted of the murders of 2 women and the attempted murder of a third. 48 Hours' Maureen Maher has been investigating the Hollywood Ripper for more than 10 years. Her reporting continues in this week's season premiere of 48 Hours.
This is a systematic slaughtering of beautiful women by a serial killer.
Hollywood, Ashley Ellerin, 2001. An aspiring fashion designer stabbed 47 times.
Ashley Ellerin was supposed to go on a date with Ashton Kutcher.
48 Hours consultant and former federal prosecutor Mary Fulginiti.
He rang the doorbell and nobody answered. He saw what he thought was spilled wine all over the place. Unfortunately, we later learned that that was her blood.
Kutcher told the jury when he eventually learned that Ashley had been murdered, he, quote, freaked out, knowing his fingerprints were on her door. Never a suspect, he was concerned about what he left behind, unlike the killer who very carefully covered his tracks. Maria Bruno, 2005. A mother of 4 young children stabbed to death. The killer leaving only a blue surgical booty outside the scene. And Santa Monica 3 years later, an attack on Michelle Murphy, but she survived. Michael Gargiulo always lived near his victims so he could watch them. Prosecutors say the stalking gave him a sexual thrill. Since Gargiulo's arrest in 2008, 48 Hours has been investigating the serial killer. In the late 90s, he came to Hollywood trying to be an actor. This is his audition tape.
Your name?
Mike Gargiulo.
He was cast as a boxer. But Marco Hoffman, once a close friend of Michael Gargiulo, says there was something strange about him.
He would go online, whatever he could find about forensics, and he would learn, how to get away with a crime.
Back then, Gargiulo was also a bouncer with Teamer Leary and Anthony DiLorenzo.
He was a tough guy. He was tough. Absolutely.
Yeah.
He has some good punches to him.
After I began reporting on this case, in 2011, Teamer Leary revealed to me that Gargiulo had bragged about killing a young woman outside Chicago. That turned out to be Tricia Piccaccio, believed by prosecutors to be his first victim.
And Maureen Maher joins us now. Good morning.
Good morning.
Michael Gargiulo was convicted last month. Why hasn't he been sentenced yet?
Well, they're waiting for the death penalty phase. In this case, the family members and others will be called back in to testify on the stand, and the jury comes back, and then they make a decision based on the testimony from the prosecution and the defense if they recommend the death penalty. But there's a problem in California. Governor Newsom has a moratorium on the death penalty, so they're still trying to figure out the language and how to deal with these cases.
You talked about Michelle Murphy. She's survived. Has she spoken out, or any other victims' families spoken out about it?
No one has spoken publicly.
Why do you think?
And that is because the case is technically not over, and there's still witnesses. But I know for a fact from one of the California family members, they're very much looking forward to finally being able to talk to each other, because the prosecution has asked them to please keep to themselves because they are witnesses in the case. I just don't think anyone thought it would take 11 years to get them. But when the death penalty happens, the phase of it, they'll all be in the same place on the same day, same time.
What can you tell us about Gargiulo? He looks very different compared to when he was first arrested. I didn't recognize him.
Yeah, so he shaved his head and he's changed his look several times. And one interesting note, he had a wedding ring on the whole time during the trial, and we could not get an answer from the defense. Who is he married to? And we heard afterwards that he has a relationship with somebody, but he had a whole image thing going during the entire trial and a demeanor of just completely nonplussed.
So interesting how he studied forensics, Maureen. Thank you. You can see Maureen's report, The Hollywood Ripper, in a special 2-hour season premiere of 48 Hours on Saturday at 9, 8 Central, right here on CBS.